Hi everyone, this is Scott just doing a sample of a narrated video. This is the video for working ideas from the MG100 Organizing Committee, composed of Deb, Doug, Praveen, myself, Scott, and Tavo. One of the first things we did in the Organizing Committee was propose a committee structure. We think going forward, these are the key committees. Obviously, everything that's in this presentation is open for consideration and discussion, but the 6 key committees that we've identified are the Executive Committee to provide oversight. One of the most important committees would be branding, communications, publications, which would also include internal communications for technology. A nominating committee to support choosing the next 25. Pay It Forward Committee to support the commitment that everybody made to pay it forward. Internal Value Creation Committee to support identifying ways that we can create value for ourselves as part of this cohort experience, and an Education Committee finding ways to educate ourselves. In the Branding, Communications, and Publications Committee, we came up with a number of ideas. The first idea is which we're already engaging, is amplifying member posting by sharing best practices for commenting and sharing. We need to share the process with the whole group and perhaps even create a video for the group. And then we considered, is there a way to monitor participation? Second thought was a book that Alex, Whitney, Aishi, and Michael had spoken about back in Phoenix, sort of this idea of the working together group, which is a visual graphic business book that takes the ideas that we've been discussing and turns it into this new form, ideally with the participation of all members of the MG100 or MG100 today. We discussed sharing strategy on how to successfully publish a book. What's the full 1-year cycle? Marshall, I think, felt very compelled to talk about this, and gathering a list of topics of interest from everybody else who's involved. We've already initiated a publication calendar thanks to Whitney, and we'd like to consider how we incentivize and inspire people to publish, even those who are not as regular publishers, to create some sort of rhythm so they're publishing a couple times a year and start to build those muscles. There was a lot of consideration of an MG100, perhaps .org website, and a way of breaking sort of the silos of membership, creating information, articles, and understanding the purpose of why we would do this site. We think that this is important and important for the individuals in the cohort, and perhaps we should be thinking about this as a brand that's sort of not in competition with, but comparable to Thinkers 50, and we could post exclusive content to it. Another big idea was a global Pay It Forward coaching summit. We have a model that exists already, an organization called Brand Innovators, that brings together CMOs and chief digital officers together with new innovative companies. And maybe we could do the same kind of thing around coaching, bringing together high-level coaches with individuals who care about coaching, maybe in HR departments, for example. And then finally, perhaps there's an idea of a think tank or thought leadership. We also spoke quickly about internal value creation. We talked about what people want to get from their participation. Is it brand building or network building? How can we support our own business, create mutual support for our own businesses, working together collaboratively as a group, and then, again, very importantly, building the MG100 as a brand. Jumping to the nominating committee, the question is, how can we support Marshall in identifying the next 25? Should this be a formal process? And that's obviously something that Marshall should consider and more than weigh in on, perhaps dictate. We should be looking at both separating the idea of picking individuals from picking groups. What do the groups of the people look like? What is it holistically? What does the cohort look like? And consider categories of these kind of groups, and then what are the people who fill those categories? The Pay It Forward Committee should be considering a way that the MG100 can replenish itself in perpetuity. We talked about a fraternity concept where we have this notion not only of the horizontal cohort, the 25 who come together, but vertical families, so that people in one cohort have a relationship with people in the following cohort. So we have creating greater stickiness and value. I think also in there should be some notion of celebrating the things that people are doing to pay it forward and sharing best practices. And then finally, the Education Committee proposed some very rich ideas around a monthly Q&A with Marshall, online Q&A, and possibly doing not just a Q&A, but maybe Marshall talking with a friend of his, a friend of Marshall, and bringing new ideas to the group that way. Perhaps creating 5 to 10 minute presentations from some guest, audio or visual. Meetups, maybe in various cities, maybe virtually, where people can present their ideas in hour-long or perhaps shorter presentations, which would give people both a chance to learn the content, learn presentation styles, and also get great feedback from other peers. Finally, we felt that documentation of best practices would be a very important thing for the education community to consider, and being able to share that and create successful, identify tools that have been used successfully. So that's the high-level thought, and with that, we can begin the discussion of the ideas from the organizing committee. Thank you very much.